In store for you tonight, kicking it off with the budget that was read amid pandemic and inflation pressures. Now, tax revenue recorded 940 billion Ugandan shillings shortfall. In the budget for the financial year 2022-23, the government has indicated a number of economic growth measures which are aimed at ensuring recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic effects. However, it's not yet clear how the economy shall overcome the external factors that look to be undermining the economy, for example, the war in Ukraine. Let's have the detail of this report.
Kasaija, while reading the budget, say the country's economy is expected to expand to 162.1 trillion for the financial year ending 30th June 2022.
The size of our economy is projected to expand to shillings 162.1 trillion for the financial year ending 30th June this year. This is equivalent to US dollars 45.7 billion. Economic activity has been more buoyant at the growth rate of 4.6% per annum this financial year, up from 3.5% of last year. This shows that the economy is on a path to full recovery from the COVID-19 disruptions.
To mitigate the country's expectations, the following progress has been registered to support SMEs and MSMEs and large businesses to recover from the economic COVID-19 shocks.
As well as the funding to micro, small and medium enterprises and the corporate large businesses. The following progress has been registered. 1. Bank of Uganda extended credit relief to enable borrowers unable to service their loans during the pandemic to restructure them. Loans totaling shillings 7.2 trillion, representing 40% of total loans, were restructured over the period. 2. Domestic arrears to private sector suppliers of goods and services to government, totaling to shillings 526 billion were cleared. In addition, court awards amounting to shillings 57 billion were also settled. 3. Microfinance Support Center was funded to support micro businesses through the Myoga Fund, 100 billion shillings, and support to SACCO, shillings 27 billion. Consequently, 6,600 SACCOs and 205,000 savings groups have been established across the country. These are operating a total of 4.1 million accounts. As a result, savings worth 63 billion.
All right, now, away from that, let's talk Uganda's anti-corruption fight, as 3 billion Ugandan shillings were recovered from corrupt officials. Now, corruption has been a fundamental factor in regards to a loss of potential government revenue to boost productivity. David Chizito, the program's transparency, who is the program's officer at the Transparency International Uganda, says money lost in these scandals can be located to the different sectors. More of this report.
According to the budget speech, there was increased declaration of income, assets and liabilities by leaders from 25,000 to over 400,000 in 2021, with the increase in the scope of public servants who are required to declare income, assets and liabilities. This financial year, 3 billion shillings has been recovered from corrupt leaders and public servants and deposited in the consolidated fund.
1.6 billion to the judiciary, shillings 95.0 billion for the Director of Public Prosecution, shillings 876.4 billion for the Uganda Police, and shillings 308.7 billion for the Uganda Prison Service. I have also allocated 79.4 billion for the Inspectorate of Government. Implementation of the parish development model.
However, anti-corruption campaigners are still adamant that Uganda is still a long way from being a corrupt-free country. David Kizito, the program's officer, Transparency Uganda International, says these lost funds play a vital role in boosting sectors if allocated appropriately.
Uganda loses about 2 trillion Ugandan shillings every year through corruption and illicit finances. Then when you look at a report by a Minister of Finance, it put the loss at about 7 trillion Ugandan shillings. That's lost annually through unfair tax exemptions that are not formally negotiated. And when you look at a report by also the Inspectorate of Government, it put the figure at about 10 trillion Ugandan shillings. So to put this into perspective, 2 trillion lost in illicit financial flows, that money is enough to finance the current allocation for agro-industrialization as a program. But then the 10 trillion we lose, according to the figures of the Inspectorate of Government, that's money enough to finance both the Human Capital Development Program, that's at about 8 trillion Ugandan shillings, plus the agro-industrialization program. But it's also almost half our national annual projected revenue collection from URA, which is about 25 trillion. So we think if we can address corruption, if we can address the loopholes where we lose money that is supposed to be, transformed into quality of services, we believe that however much we have as our national budget, this money will be able to do its intended purpose, and as a country we shall realize value in terms of services.
Corruption permeates all parts of the Ugandan society and acts as a major constraint on economic development and poverty eradication. Corruption constitutes a major challenge for business operating or planning to invest in Uganda. The police, the judiciary and procurement are areas where corruption risks are very high and under-the-table cash payments are expected. Barija Andrew, Smart 24.
To the next story, we talk fishing in the country. Now, aquaculture business in the country has seen the sensitization for the value of aquaculture business being highlighted as a key pillar. Now, in this particular report, Monica Nabyonga highlights for you why aquaculture business is facing a lot of challenges due to unorganized representation and lack of a national unit body that could unite all of them. Fish farmers contribute 25% of the total fish in Uganda. However, the sector is forecasted to have a 60% increase by the end of 2030. Monica Nabyonga has the details to this one.
Business has continued to suffer due to lack of marketing. Professor Mwanja says the market is there, but farmers lack skills. He furthermore continues to stretch that farmed fish is not distributed adequately.
Fish farming has been struggling because of marketing, not lack of market, but marketing. The market, we have over 40 million Ugandans, as we are aware now, and fish, of course, still remains the most accessible animal protein, but it's not as distributed as you see chicken or beef, that even sometimes by the landing site you can't access fish. So this cooperative, newly formed cooperative, has to sit and devise farmer generated solutions of how to really secure the market and make sure the products can move from a farmer to the market without middlemen who normally dampen the price of the products. Local fish farming has now market local, but also in the region. That if they are organized, since they are throughout the country now, and have formal contracts with these large off-takers, they can move products to better paying markets, including rural areas. Sometimes fish is more expensive just outside Kampala than in Kampala itself, because everyone is trying to bring to Kampala, so the price is lower. But outside Kampala, you go to MPG, the fish is almost twice the price in Kampala.
However, Majid says that they are facing a lot of challenges in the business, where he fronted the high costs of feeds and unhealthy competition from the foreigners that are dealing in the same business.
Ekisooka kyenene emmere ebyenanda y'ebirya eri ku ne era awo wetusabira gavumenti kuba ife tuli baayi oba abalunzi ababulido otuzira sente do mwerenga bwobwenigano abavubuka bangi betukozesa aye obuzibu bwe tulinabo nti singa gavumenti etugemerako netufunira ku sente twasobola okuboneka nti tufuna ekyuma oba yokutufunira ekyuma kikuba ingredients edisinga dirigano mu Uganda beyi esobola okuyika eyemere. Then 2 ni basubuzi balimi banaifa ebyenanda bali banene abazungu abo obuzibu bali kunti bulige tuli kujja okutunda ebyenanda babulige tutunda batayirege ebintu byabwe ate basala beyi nga kibali kunoonya ife tuve mu business mebo bakole ki baninise ne noko okusomozebwa kwe tulinako na akatale kene kali kubanga kafu okuva mu 2000 kuva nani buyatandika obulwaire bwa covid kali kuba obuzibu obwembeere eyo olukuboneka nti obutale butandise okubula kubanga Nairobi yetu bali tutwala era bano banayifa abazungu bayalero sanifishi bataya amaduka gaabwe ate ife tukali kufuna busobola kuboneka nga tugula freezers edde kusobola okutaayo tusobola okuboneka nga twena tuvuganya nabo so ife tubali twalanga motoka twatundirayo ayi bo bataayo ate bayisebe yigansi olwa okuba nti bo emere yaabwe bo batwala direct ewaabwe emere yabangeri ku sente entono ate ifuwa nemere tuba tugigula ku muntu wa kusatu kumpi wa kubiri ebeyi yabanga ebanene so twalema kusobola kuvuganya nabo.
There is a body that is helping out farmers with funding. However, they also hope for government to intervene and boost the aquaculture farming.
Consortium implementing this lot 1 of the PESCA project. We are working with a budget of 3 billion. Is the fund that comes from EU, and 10% is coming from OMAL consortium members that you saw me introducing there. So that is the budget and the money we have been using to do all the things that have been in the future. I see government taking up this because we have, as I told you, we have only worked in 35 districts, and we have more the country at the moment. And even in the districts where we have worked, we have not covered all the sub-counties. Some sub-counties have still been left out. So I see government coming in to probably in a tune of organize them. Then there could be arrangement as government to try to equip them and facilitate them to have the basic requirement that will make them be able to access the quality feeds, access the quality seed, and continuous information flow. Of course, that connection comes to here.
Government has also pledged to support the cooperative and urged young people to engage in the business.
This sector is a priority already. Government is the government is already looking at it. We already have a ministry, that is Ministry Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. It is already there. We as the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives are also having a strong hand to support the industry. Even Minister of Agriculture is a very strong partner in fostering this. Minister of Finance also is doing a lot. So it's a key sector that government is looking at. When you look at all those arms of government, I would definitely encourage it, because what does it require?
The Municipal Infrastructure Development has seen members of Parliament assess GULU city roads ahead of a new World Bank funding. Yesterday, during the presidential address, during the budget day presentation, infrastructure development was mentioned as key priority for the next financial year. Now, GULU city in northern Uganda is among the recipients of the $360 million funding from the World Bank under the Uganda Support to Municipal Infrastructure Development, which ends in a year's time. Members of the Parliamentary Committee on National Economy are in the northern region assessing the implementation of road infrastructure projects within GULU city at a cost of 41 billion shillings under the Uganda Support to Municipal Infrastructure Development. Pedersen Mombere has the details.
According to my judgment, me, For sure, I give GULU City 80%.
The Parliament's Committee on the National Economy is in the countryside assessing the ongoing implementation of the infrastructure projects, in particular roads, under funding by the World Bank. GULU City in northern Uganda is one among the implementing authorities under the Uganda Support to Municipal Infrastructure Development, OSMID. John Ijoko, the chairperson of the Committee on the National Economy, says that the current huge infrastructure financing shortfalls for the new cities such as GULU implies that quality assurance and value for money is key.
We're yet to move to the Albertine region and look at the implementation in the Albertine. Then we shall, at an appropriate time, we shall also move to other cities. In the east, we shall get selected cities, maybe like Jinja, Mbale and Soroti, and see the progress of the work in those municipalities. But now it is a city. So we have gone through about 6 roads that are under construction through this funding, and some roads at 57% physical performance, and a number of them, actually about 6 kilometers have not yet started because they are still at preparation stage. But I would want to say that, well, we have seen the work is moving. But personally, as a chairperson of the committee,
the chairperson of the committee, John Ijoko, has well noted that part of the objectives of their inspection of the project under OSMID in the 10 new cities and other municipalities has to do with ensuring value for money and effective implementation in a view of Uganda's huge public debt. GULU City Council has since secured 41 billion shillings under the OSMID AF, which has since facilitated the tarmacking of at least 11.7 kilometers, with 6 kilometers under design and awaiting construction.
With the members of Parliament on the National Economy Committee, one key outcome that I am expecting, or we are expecting as a ministry, is advice, because when we implement this program, there are many things that that happen along the way when implementing such a big project. So when we come for a meeting of this nature, we are expecting that we shall be able to get advice that will inform now that this second phase is winding up next year. Now if government decides to approach the World Bank for again, the next.
All right, now let's talk the education sector, as teachers have laid down tools. The Minister of Public Service cautions against discriminatory salary yesterday. The Minister of Finance did assure teachers that everything will be okay this time around, more so for those teaching sciences. The Uganda National Teachers Union has cautioned all members in every school and education institution against discriminatory salary enhancement. This comes as a result of the science teachers asking for a better pay compared to the arts teachers. Honorable Muluri Mukasa also cautioned on misleading students about the arts subjects. Let's get the report.
Salaries in Uganda range from 1,330,000 Ugandan shillings per month. The minimum average salary to 570,000 Ugandan shillings, which means that half of the people working in the teaching education are earning less than 3 million shillings, while the other half are earning more than the 3 million shillings. However, according to a budget allocation, 4.14 trillion shillings was given to the education sector, and the salaries of scientists, including teachers, was enhanced by 495 billion. This led to some of the teachers under the Uganda National Teachers Union to lay down tools. Speaking to journalists at Media Center, Minister of Public Service Mulirila Mukasa had this to say.
National Teachers Union, UNATU, the umbrella association, to lay down tools effective 15th June 2022, thereby denying our innocent children the opportunity to learn. The education sector had picked up momentum from the 2-year lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic, thus really giving hope to our learners, to the parents and to the rest of the country and preparing them for the future. It should be noted that, as obliged, government has been consistent in promptly paying monthly salaries for all the teachers, even during the 2-year lockdown period. Under the leadership of the Right Honorable Prime Minister, government has held a series of meetings comprising the Minister of Education and Sports, the Minister of Public Service, the Attorney General, and the Solicitor General to agree on the way forward regarding the issues raised by UNATU. Government is aware of the previous discussions with the leadership of the Teachers Union and is committed to the plan of enhancing pay of workers in a phased manner, depending on the availability of resources. As a matter of fact, enhancement of the pay of science teachers, scientists, and health workers has already commenced. Since we adopted the pay enhancement plan in 2018-2019, yes, consistently and religiously, we have been enhancing sections of the service. From that time up to now, and even the budget was read the other day, the enhancement of scientists, health workers, science teachers, including lab attendants, is on course. We are therefore calling upon UNATU to remain patient as government continues the implementation of the pay enhancement plan, of course, subject to availability of resources.
He adds that the money they have is not enough to all workers.
Cannot enhance all the workers at a go. The resources we have cannot, provide for all the requirements of the workers at a go. Now, if you are going to be practical, it means, therefore, that you only have to cater for a certain section, which is affordable. Once that has been catered for, then the following year you take another section until until the entire plan has been put into effect. So this should not cause problems. Now,
all right, now with that, we do take a short break, but when I do return, I've got more stories on your way. This is Business Today, and this is Smart 24. That is the only one, eh?